Today I'm going to show you how I made a paddle in the West Coast style here. I'm out here in the Olympic Peninsula, so West Coast I guess would mean, the West Coast of Vancouver Island and West Coast of Washington. Paddle overall is about 61 inches long. It's about 6 inches wide here at the widest part, and thickness wise it's under a half inch to 3/8 inch at the thickest part along the actual paddle part. And I'd say the length from the tip to the throat is about 28 to 30 inches. I've made this custom. The reason I did this is I'm pulling with the Jamestown Slalom tribe in their cedar dugout canoe, and I wanted a paddle that really fit my hand well and allowed me to move my hand up and down a little bit on the, so that I could change positions, rest my arms, and that sort of thing. The width at the handhold here part is, it varies from 1 to 1 1/4 inch. I made it kind of egg shaped to fit my grip the best way. And at the top here I've got this T-piece 4 inches long, a little over 1 inch in diameter, that I can grab onto with this hand. Then here in a couple of weeks I'll have an opportunity to take it out and see how it works. I'm using a pattern that I got from a friend of mine, and I'm using the West Coast style, should be down here on the bottom. And I'm using a piece of maple that I bought back from Virginia, and it's got a big crack down the center, so I'm just going to peel off that outer part and use that. And it's a nice thickness. It's about a little over 1 3/8 thick, so that gives me some wiggle room when I'm making the center grip part here. I can get it so it fits my hand just right, and hopefully I'll have a paddle that is a custom fit for me. The layout is a part I'm giving a lot of attention to. You can kind of see what I've come up with for a layout. And I thought I'd tell you how I got to this. First of all, I tried to estimate on what the hand spread would be when I'm paddling. And I based that on some experience I've had paddling with the tribe's paddles that came with the canoe, and about how I feel comfortable. And I came up with a spread from this hand, which is the upper, to the bottom of my palm of about 28 inches. And but I know that I'm going to want to be able to move my hand around some. So I made the grip area kind of wide or long. If I'm choking way up, hand will be up here. If I'm choking way down, this is about the 28 inch point down here. And when I shape this area here, I'm going to gradually blend in so I can even push my hand down farther, but of course don't want to get too far down. And this is a 60.5 inch paddle, so it's an experiment. And I'll go ahead and cut this, and I've left plenty of meat. I've left this 1.5 inches wide at the grip, 6 inches wide down here at the blade, and I've put a tenon up here, which will go into a mortise in the little cross piece, around inch diameter cross piece that your hand grips around. But with 1.5 inches of material here, I know I'm going to end up being down smaller than that, so I just wanted to leave plenty of meat that I can carve away with a spoke shave and just home in on what I think the right grip is. So now I'm going to go and bandsaw the shape out, and once that's done, I'll start the spoke shave work. Okay, I've been working at getting the wood off of this using the spoke shave and some planes, a little block plane, smooth plane, that kind of thing. I've got it down pretty close to where I want it to be. I'm probably a little thick here. This weighs about 2 pounds 9 ounces. I want to try to get it down ideally under 2 pounds. Don't know if I'll be able to get that light, because this is maple, which is kind of a heavy wood to begin with. But a little more thickness off of this would be good. This is a 6-inch wide here. I'm going to keep the width the same. And then on the handle here, I can take off a little more. I've made my handle area pretty long here so that I can change my grip around and decide where's my perfect grip for paddling. And you know, when you hold your hand around a handle, it's not round, it's kind of egg-shaped if you look at it. And so I figured out where the axis of that egg is, and it's, you know, it's right here on this little crease on my thumb. So I held my paddle in the position I thought I'd be using in the canoe and made a little mark here where the axis of that, you know, egg, the long part, would be. So between that mark and 180 degrees, you know, around, that's got to be the thick part, and then 90 degrees either side of that's got to be thinned out a little bit. So I can take off a little bit of meat there, and then it ought to be kind of a custom fit, which I think is going to be good. Also, up here is a tenon area. This type of paddle has a little T-piece. You know, it's a round piece that's about 4 inches long with a mortise in it, and it fits over this, and you glue it into place. And so I've you know, creeping down on a 1/2 inch thickness here, so it'll fit nice and snugly into the mortise. And I can probably take off a little more on these sides, and maybe even a little more on this thickness to get the weight down a little bit. And then I'll probably be about where I need to be. So let's get back to spoke shaving. All right, well, I've got this trimmed down about as far as I'm willing to go. It's 2 pounds 2 ounces. And I'll give it a water test, and if I decide I need to take a little more off, that's easy to do. But I've gone ahead and I've sanded this down to 320 grit. I'm going to be using spar varnish on it. But before I do that, I've got to attach the handle. And what I did was I took a block of scrap wood from this wood, and I cut out 3 handle blanks and just did a 1/2 inch mortise, about a 1/2 inch deep by about 2.5 wide. Made a couple of spares, and so this is the one that I'm going to use. And then using the belt sander, I just went ahead and rounded it and rounded off the edges and then sanded it all up. So then I'm going to go ahead and use some epoxy to attach this, and when I'm all done with that, everything's sanded, I'll be ready to do some finish. Well, I'm pretty much near the end here. This is my 3rd coat of spar varnish that I'm putting on the paddle, which I think is enough protection for my test run in a week and a half. And then after that, if I have to make any changes, I don't have to be cutting through a lot of varnish. And if I like it, I'll put more coats on, and eventually maybe I'll even get talented enough to be able to paint a design on here. But for now, let's just take this one step at a time. Thanks for watching.